Hi, third grade. We are back with part 2 of our anthology text, Clever Jack Takes the Cake. In part 1 of this story, we learned that our main character Jack wants to attend the princess's 10th birthday party. However, he didn't have any money to get a gift, so he had to trade some of his things and spend some extra time working to get the ingredients to make a cake. So far, on his journey to see the princess, he's come across a couple different problems. First, there were birds, and then there was a troll. Let's continue reading to see what happens next.
On the other side, he looked down at his gift. At least I still have a layer of cake, 10 candles, and the succulent strawberry, he said. Holding the cake proudly before him, Jack continued on to the castle. Before long, he came to the forest. No birds chirped here, no squirrels chittered. As if under a spell, the entire wood lay silent, sleeping. Only the wind seemed to whisper, "Beware, beware." Pulling the cake closer, Jack pressed on. The road grew narrower, the trees grew thicker, the light grew dimmer. Soon it was so dark that Jack couldn't see the cake in front of his face. "Turn back," the wind whispered. "Turn back." "I can't," cried Jack. "I'm taking this cake to the princess."
How can we describe Jack's walk through the forest? Jack's walk through the forest is dark and scary. He hears the wind telling him to beware and to turn back, but he doesn't. What does this tell you about Jack? The fact that Jack hasn't turned around and went back home, even though all this stuff has happened to his cake and now he's in the dark, scary forest, tells me that he will do anything to get to the party and to bring the cake to the princess.
And he reached into his pocket for a matchstick, struck it on his shoe, and lit one of the 10 candles. The tiny flame cast a magical circle of light. In its warm glow, Jack carefully made his way forward, but the little candle quickly burned down and, poof, snuffed out. So Jack lit a second candle. But he had not gone much farther before, poof, it too snuffed out. So Jack lit a third, then a fourth, then a fifth, until the 10th and final candle flickered, fluttered, sputtered to its end. And as it did, the road widened, the trees thinned, and the bright sunlight shone once more. Jack looked down at his gift. "At least I still have a layer of cake and the succulent strawberry," he said.
What did Jack use for light to see through the dark forest? Jack had to burn all 10 candles so that he had light to walk through the forest. When I look at the illustrations on these 2 pages, I can see how Jack's walk changed. He starts his walk in the dark forest, and he looks scared. He ends his journey through the forest in the daylight, and he looks happy, even though there aren't any more candles on his cake.
Holding the cake proudly before him, Jack continued on to the castle. Before long, he came to a clearing. "Good morning, young sir," called out an old gypsy woman. "Have you come to see Samson dance?" At the sound of his name, the bear beside her rose up on its hind legs. "I don't have time," replied Jack. "I'm taking this cake to the princess." "Then we shall make it a quick jig," said the gypsy, snatching up her concertina. "Oompa, oompa," wheezed the instrument. "Shuffle, shuffle, kick," danced the bear. "Tap, tap, tap," went Jack's foot, as he set down the cake to dance with his new friends. Gulp! "Hey!" cried Jack. "That bear ate the princess's cake." "Patooey!" "But not the strawberry," said the gypsy. "Samson hates fruit." Jack looked down at his gift, and for several seconds he was unable to speak. Finally he said, "At least I still have this, the reddest, juiciest, most succulent strawberry in the land."
What mistake does Jack make in this section? Jack's mistake was putting the cake down. He was supposed to protect the cake, but he was distracted by the music and dancing. He put the cake on the ground so that he could dance too. What happened as a result of Jack's mistake? As a result of Jack's mistake, the bear could get the cake and he ate it. On this page, the author uses a lot of onomatopoeia words. Words like shuffle, shuffle, kick, gulp, patooey are all onomatopoeias. An onomatopoeia is a type of figurative language where the word mimics the sound it is describing. When the author uses these words, it helps me to visualize what the bear is doing. The onomatopoeia words, shuffle, shuffle, kick, help me to visualize the bear dancing in time to the music. And the words gulp and patooey help me to visualize and even hear the action when the bear eats the cake and spits out the strawberry. Summarize. What happened to the cake? Tell the events in order. Well, there was a lot that happened to the cake. First, the blackbirds ate the walnuts on the cake that spelled Happy Birthday Princess. Then, Jack gave the troll a layer of cake so he could cross the bridge. He then had to light all of the candles to be able to see through the dark forest. Finally, the bear ate the last layer of the princess's cake. All that was left of the cake was the strawberry.
And holding the strawberry proudly before him, Jack continued on to the castle. Across the drawbridge, through the fortress walls, straight into the courtyard. What a sight! There, smack in the center of all the merry festivities, sat the princess on her velvet throne, a long line of guests stretched before her. One by one, they presented her with their gifts, each more fabulous than the last. But even the most magnificent treasures did not seem to interest Her Highness. More rubies, she said, with a bored yawn. How tiresome. Another tiara? How dull. Joining the line, Jack glanced down at his humble gift.
Jack finally makes it to the castle, and he holds the strawberry proudly. He enters the castle excited by all the festivities. As he's standing in line, what does Jack notice about the princess? Jack notices that the princess is not interested in any of the magnificent gifts. What does this cause him to think about his gift now? Jack begins to think that his strawberry is small and not valuable enough for the princess. It says, Jack glanced down at his humble gift.
And just what have you brought the princess? A guard asked from behind him. A strawberry, said Jack. The reddest, juiciest, most succulent one in the land. He held it out for the guard to see. That is a fine piece of fruit, agreed the guard, but I cannot allow you to give it to the princess. Why not? Asked Jack. Because she is allergic to strawberries, said the guard. One taste and she swells up like a balloon. No, gasped Jack. Yes, said the guard. I'm sorry, but you'll have to give it to me. Reluctantly, Jack handed over the strawberry. Mmm.
Why does Jack shout, "No!" when the guard says he cannot deliver the strawberry? Jack shouts no because he is so disappointed.
Now Jack found himself at the front of the line. The princess turned her gaze to him. And what have you brought me? She asked. Jack gulped. He blushed. He shuffled his feet. Well? Jack took a deep breath and knelt down before her. Your Highness, he began, let me explain what happened. And he told the princess about trading for the ingredients to bake a golden sweet cake just for her. He told her about the swirling storm of blackbirds, the wild-haired troll, and the dark, dark wood. He told her about the old gypsy woman and her concertina, and the bear who loved to dance but hated fruit. And in the end, said Jack, I still had the succulent strawberry. But, the boy sighed, you're allergic to strawberries. He waited for her to yawn. So the guard ate it, he concluded.
Jack blushed and shuffled his feet. I think he is nervous and embarrassed about his gift. What does he think the princess will think about him? Jack sighed as he was telling the story, so he thinks she is not interested in listening to him. Even though Jack thinks that the princess isn't interested in listening to his story, I can see in the illustration that he is smiling and happy while he's telling the story. I can also see in the illustration all of the characters that he met on his way to the castle. This helps me to understand that Jack is explaining what happened on his way to the castle, and the illustration shows that Jack is providing lively details about how he lost the cake.
The princess laughed and clapped her hands in delight. A story, she exclaimed, and an adventure story at that. What a fine gift.
What does the princess think about the story? The princess loves adventure stories and thinks this is a fine gift. She is very happy. How do we know that she's happy? The text says that the princess laughed and clapped her hands in delight. We also see that her expression looks very happy in the illustration. Then, the princess rose from her throne and proclaimed, "Time for birthday cake, and my new friend Jack shall have the honor of cutting it." Our essential question asks, how do people get what they need? Well, we can get help from people and use items all around us to get what we need. Sometimes we need to be creative when what we need is not right in front of us. We saw that in this fairy tale. Our main character, Jack, was creative and positive throughout his journey. He never gave up, and at the end, he became friends with the princess. All right, boys and girls, that is the end of our fairy tale, Clever Jack Takes the Cake. Thanks for watching and reading the story with me today. Bye for now.